All right, and we are back. So let's talk about some issues when it comes to legal and entrepreneurship. One thing that's really big when it comes to entrepreneurship is fallouts with co-founders. So if you've ever had a fallout with a co-founder or protecting yourself for that, what can you expect?
Man, the worst. You guys been in relationships before. Breakups are the worst.
The worst, man. You feel the pain different.
And when you've been putting in this time and this effort and this money into this business, and then now you and the other co-founders, the other directors, your investors are not getting along, it's just headaches, and it sucks. I linked up with a few people to start a business. Right now I have a few corporations, right? But there was one in particular that I had. When did we start this? I feel like we started it 2021.
Damn, so this is like recent.
This is recent, 2021. I feel like we started 2020 or 2021. Mm-hmm. End of 2020. Eventually, like we used to meet, whatever, but not everybody took the meeting seriously. Everybody has their own other side businesses. This is a side business to everybody who has other businesses already. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, those never go well.
Nah, man.
Everyone comes in, it's just like, too many, not too many chiefs, man. Not enough Indians, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
This is a side business to people, entrepreneurs that have other main businesses. You know what I'm saying? So maybe not everybody may be putting in the same amount of time. Not everyone's working on the same things. Not everybody is there for every meeting. Not everybody cares about the marketing meeting and whatever the case may be. So in situations like that, sometimes like I feel like it builds like sometimes a little resentment, like for that, because somebody will be working on the bread and butter of it, because that's what they do. Like say you have a software company, someone will be working on the back end of the software or the IT or the network, whatever, and it's important. But at the same time, it's important for the marketing guy to sell it, because if you could build a great product, but if nobody finds it, we didn't make nothing.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, like it's good to come into I sometimes I would say I like working alone a lot of times, but I understand the importance of working as a team, because you can only do so much alone. And if you have a team and everyone has a different skill set, that's great. But now when you're falling out now, it's rough. Cause like say you fall out with your mans, and in order to access and your business has expenses, and in order to access the bank account, both you and your man have to be there. And now you and your boy is not speaking. You can't even do your payroll. You can't get the money out the account to pay your lease or do your payroll or pay for this invoice or whatever the case may be. You could be at odds with a co-founder, and now something that you guys should have worked through cause a standstill in the whole business because of this other issue that has nothing to do with the business now. Like just say me and you, Alex, we start a business. But apart from the business, maybe me and you get into an argument about something else. Me and you playing FIFA, you call me a waste you. Oh, I'm a waste you? Yo. From now on, me and you just don't talk. But we had a great business, but now we've let that little stuff get into the bit. Like, now we're not working as a team no more because there's personal things going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks, bro. But legally, you want to have agreements to cover you, whether it be a shareholder agreement to cover you with the other investors in the business, whether it be like a revenue share agreement. Like just say me and you have our own separate entities. We have our own separate companies, but our companies work together to produce a seasonal activity. Say we want to lease people bikes. Or lease people cars, lease people bikes, cars. It could be snowboards. You want to lease people certain type of equipment through this season that it's booming. So I come with certain equipment, you come with certain equipment. We can say, let's start one service and we'll split the revenue 50-50. If you guys do a joint venture like that, have an agreement, have clauses that talk about what would happen if the business falls apart. Like if the service falls apart, like the termination clause. If we terminate this agreement, I leave with the equipment I brought in. You leave with the equipment you brought in. We bust down the money. 50-50, how we talked about. Stuff like that. You want to have everything laid out already just to protect yourselves, If you're starting a partnership, guys, like say you're not even going to an incorporation. If you're just starting a partnership through Service Ontario, have a partnership agreement. Like, How much equity does this person get out of the revenue? How much equity do I get? What happens if we break up? What happens if this? What happens if one of us dies? Something like that. Like, you want to have certain things locked in.
How much money do you think that should cost?
A partnership agreement?
Just the overall process of getting that from start to finish for creating those agreements.
Well, if you have a partnership, it's $60. Or sole proprietorship partnership is $60. If you have a corporation, if you're gonna get a corporation, you're gonna spend a few $100 setting it up. If you have on the low end, depends on the business. If the business is a little bit more savvy, it involves more licenses and regulations and stuff like that, you're going to pay maybe in the thousands to set up a new business, whatever, right? But for the most part, if you're just opening a new service or a new product driven business, something like that, it's not going to cost more than a few $100, maybe $1,000, a little bit more, $1,000, something like that, depending on who you go to and stuff like that. But if you do a partnership agreement, I mean,
this is by yourself, right? Is this with the lawyers as well?
If you do it by yourself, you probably didn't pay nothing. You probably just went on Law Depot or another website where you could get a template and stuff like that. I always tell people be careful about templates though, because the person that made that template didn't know anything about your business. Mm-hmm. They didn't know anything about you or your partners or whatever the case may be. So that's the reason why I would go to a lawyer, because a lawyer is going to sit down and listen to what your business is, what your business does, and he's going to listen to what your concerns are about your business, before he drafts anything for you. This just like if you go to a tailor and you buy a suit, he's going to make sure that suit is tailor made to you. He's going to take your measurements, everything, make sure that's a custom suit. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lawyer does. He's going to make sure this is a custom agreement that fits your business moving forward based on what you told him, what you're trying to do, and what your fears are and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be expensive. I think people just have to ask questions. It doesn't have to be expensive. You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys are gonna find the deal regardless, to make it work. So if you really believe in an idea, just protect it straight up. Protect it.
Can the template still fly though?
Templates can fly.
Yeah.
Templates can fly. Just maybe you might bring a template to a lawyer and then only pay the lawyer to just walk you through what everything means and maybe edit a little bit here and there, stuff like that. Or if you use basic terms and that you and your friends or your co-founders can agree to, then everything is good. As long as the language is good, everyone understands what's their obligations, what's the requirements of everybody, what's going to be the rules, when we're going to meet, what we're going to do with the the profits, that kind of stuff. What we're going to do if we break up, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you might have a non-compete in there. Like say we have a podcasting business. In our agreement, we might have a non-compete that says if we break up, neither of us can go do a podcast for 1 year. All right. Or if we have a restaurant, neither of us can go open up a new restaurant within this radius within 1 year, 2 years. And
duplicate the same process, the same branding and everything like that.
No, you just can't do it.
You can't do it.
You can't do it. You just can't.
Why do people do that?
So you won't become a competitor.
Look at Rory and Mal.
But I get the whole competitor thing. But
they got like 10 mil. I bet Joe wanted that 10 mil.
Oh, for sure. I know he must.
I know he got offered more than 10 mil. But the thing is, Joe was bugging because Joe was acting like they were employees, but they had a revenue share. So you're basically partners. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And we spoke about case studies, right? And this is like a great lane to go into when we talk, because this is a prime time opportunity. It's relevant to Alex and I, for example, and a lot of content creators who are coming up. So when you assess that situation from a legal perspective, you understand the situation pretty well. We've spoken about it extensively on the show. Yeah. So let's just get right
on It's Too Real.
So let's just get right into it. So what's your take on it, on the legal ramifications on Joe's end and also on Rory and Mal's end?
If we have a revenue share, say we promise splits to each other out of this pot of money, it's my duty to show you how much money we're getting. How you gonna know what your 40% is, or what your half is, what your 50% is? You know what I'm saying? If I have access to the bank accounts and I'm Joe, ad money's coming in, I have access to the bank accounts. I have to show these guys what we're getting in order to give them their split. Don't be talking like you're going on air saying these guys are employees. No, employees can't ask to see the books. I pay you a salary. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the case in their situation. From what Mal and Rory explained, they have a revenue share. So you have to split. You have to show them the books. For the, it's audit is natural. You know what I'm saying? It's just how to certify, the numbers is true. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm your man and everything like that, but you're going to want to see the books just to make sure. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure you're getting what you're supposed to be getting.
Yeah.
So there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with that.
Once you have a partnership agreement or you have a shareholder agreement, what's the process of dissolving that?
An amendment.
An amendment.
Mm-hmm. But you would want to put in that agreement, this agreement can only be amended by a written agreement, like something like that, or this one, amendments, because some people will put in their contracts, this agreement can never be amended. But you want to allow yourself leeway, because as the relationship builds between us and our businesses, we may deal with each other a little bit different. We want to just change the terms. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. So maybe before I used to give you 30%, now I'm going to give you 40% of this revenue share or something like that. Where maybe now you have new things to add to the business, and we're going to develop the service or the product more because of what your resources that you're bringing in. We can be that. I mean, contracts can change, man. Like, just you don't want to box yourself into a hole. So you want to draft. You want to I draft thinking about the future for this business based on what these guys have told me and where they're trying to take it. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, and things they could take it in the next direction than what they told me, because based on new opportunities that presented itself. So I still want to give leeway in allowing this agreement to be amended later on, but it just takes everyone's consent. It's not difficult.
Going slightly back to corporations, there's incorporating federally and provincially. We covered that. But a lot of these new businesses now, they incorporate in Delaware state in America. Why do people do that? And instead of like incorporating like where you live, like locally right here in Toronto?
People don't incorporate locally when there's taxes involved. That's why Amazon will incorporate offshore and not pay no taxes. You can incorporate your businesses in these there's many states around the world where they don't take certain income tax, or the tax is a lot less. I'm not sure what Delaware's deal is, but there's certain states. I think Texas doesn't have any state tax or something like that. There's many states and jurisdictions that they don't tax you, right? I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Panama scandal and stuff like that, when a lot of rich people around the world, wealthy people, and even public figures, even politicians and stuff like that, would put their assets in holding companies in offshore jurisdictions. And I'll give you guys a gem on holding companies. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah.
You watch Ozarks?
So you know what a holding company is.
Yeah.
So you just move all your assets to a corporation that doesn't really carry on any business, but just so you don't have to pay no tax on it, and you protect it. Because now if somebody sues me, or someone, like, let's say I have a home development company, and I have all the equipment in the world and stuff like that. And I have all the equipment in the world. I have tractors, I have forklifts, I have all types of equipment that I'm going to need, like cement trucks, whatever. I might open up a holding company that just owns that equipment. So if anyone ever sues the actual business, they can't get access to those that equipment. So I'll use a holding company, or I'll use a holding company to hold my my personal home, or my stock portfolio, or whatever assets I have. I'll use a holding company. It's a separate entity. The equipment or the assets is in that entity's name. There's no reason for someone to sue that corporation, because that corporation has nothing to do with the business that I'm providing them. Yeah.
It's kind of like, remember when 50 was being sued, and then he filed for bankruptcy, and then he was trolling everyone that he's broken everything like that, and then he poses in front of a Prius like, guys, look, I'm struggling right now. I have it hard right now.
Yeah.
So I think 50 moved all his stuff into a holding company. So when he claimed bankruptcy,
just that corporation didn't have any assets.
Exactly.
And bro, you see when a man's going through a divorce?
Yeah.
That man will move he'll know the divorce is coming in like 6 months or a year from now.
He can see it.
This relationship's going downhill.
Yeah.
I need to start protecting myself.
Word.
Open up a little corporation on the side.
Doesn't tell the missus about it.
No.
Or even
definitely.
the missus doesn't probably tell, like, if we're gonna be like gender or whatever.
Yeah.
The missus might move her stuff on the side as well if she's balling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's getting ready for this breakup. So she's preparing herself. Has a separate corporation.
By the way, have you seen this in action?
Yeah.
There are times, eh?
Family court. I don't do family law. I've never done family law. I won't do family law. Family law is sticky.
Word, eh?
When you see how crafty mans could get not to pay this woman, set up corporations in their parents' name, set up corporations in their parents' name, act broke, like really, like just
like I'm struggling.
I
can't eat.
I can't afford this. I can't like have the books looking nice, like accurate.
Yeah.
Lawyer can't find nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how this guy is doing this. Like, he's coming to court saying, you got hit hard. We got hit hard by pandemic. Sales is down, as you can see. But then it takes good lawyers and good investigators. There's people that are good at what they do, like forensic investigators, and they'll find the money, man. They might find it so they'll look at they'll search up your parents maybe. Oh, I see your parents are shareholders or a director in this business. What does that business do? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, parents are kind of old. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't parents never parents. What does your parents even know about business? But there's money coming into this corporation over here. Meanwhile they have the books looking bad just so that they can only pay what they're supposed to pay based on this number. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, they got millions stashed away in this other corporation. And maybe they even have a corporation that's offshore. There's a famous Formula One driver from Quebec who they just realized, this guy was making millions and stuffing it into his offshore account. Not only was he getting paid off his winnings from winning races, but when the video games EA would have Formula One racing games, and they would license his identity and stuff like that and his trademarks, he would get paid and he would hide that away offshore so you'd never have to pay taxes on it. You know what I'm saying?
So when he got booked, what happened?
Oh, I think you don't want to fight the CRA, man.
Really, eh?
I've had clients try to fight the CRA. CRA, man.
Well, they say you just need a good accountant though.
To do what?
If you're gonna not evade taxes, but pay as little as possible on your taxes.
You always need a good accountant, though.
Yeah. But you cannot avoid taxes. That's what you're saying.
In this situation, the Canadian government was trying to say, the Canadian government was just basically trying to say that, those taxes belong to us because you're a Canadian citizen. It's just something like you're a Canadian citizen and whatever the case may be. So if you're licensing out your identity, whatever, you're still a Canadian, and they were trying on that. I can't remember how the case went, but they were basically trying to say that he underpaid taxes for years based on him having that offshore account. But if you have a good accountant, a good tax lawyer, they'll set that up for you for years to come, man. So
which also leads to the next thing. We'll talk about estate planning and incorporating your business, because this kind of ties into that. What is estate planning when we're looking at that?
Estate planning is preparing for your estate or your everything you own, your assets. It's planning for them. What's going to happen to them after you die? Maybe succession planning. You're going to leave this to your wife, this to your kids, stuff like that. Or it can mean just I'm pretty I have a good hunch. My theory is a lot of the law that we comply with, really and truly deals with taxes at the end of the day and how the government taxes you. Because the government's business is taxing you. That's how they keep up with their services. They need to tax you. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs were tired of that and pushed for, for instance, one of my theories is that marriage, men got married so that way they can leave their assets tax free. Why would they have to get married? They could just be with a woman if that's the case. You could just be with a woman and say, we're married.
Yeah, where did this desire come from?
Why did I have to make the government? Why did I have to make the government know I was married?
Yeah,
because I want to. Because now I can use my wife to assets to the next generation when I'm gone or whatever the case may be, and stuff like that. That's why would I have to get a marriage license? Why would I have to get a license for you to tell me I can get married? Mm-hmm. Why is the government involved in the bedroom like that?
Word.
In a private relationship? Why? Mm-hmm. Why isn't it just like how it was back in the day? Maybe you have a traditional wedding. You're Kenyan. Mm-hmm. You guys have traditionals in Kenya?
Of course.
Why is that not enough? Why do I need the government to respect this? Because it's a tax thing. It started off as a tax thing, and now it's the standard.
So what you're saying is the government made it advantageous for men to like be motivated to legally be committed to like this partner of theirs.
No, I think it was a workaround. I think marriage was a workaround because if you leave a lot of gifts, if you leave gifts when you die, you pay taxes on it, or the beneficiary has to pay taxes on it, depending on what you leave and who you leave it to, stuff like that. And I feel like the government, I feel like the workaround was, let me marry this woman. And then I she'll manage my estate. She won't pay nothing on it. She can keep going on with whatever I give her, and there won't be no taxes. You know those people that are just anti-tax, like, I'm not paying these guys nothing. These guys never did nothing for me. Mm-hmm. You know those entrepreneurs. Like, why am I gonna give away half or 30% or 40% of what I got?
There wasn't women shooting in the gym, bro.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Why am I gonna pay this land tax, this land transfer tax?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of things came out of taxes, tax law. Think about the whole business expense thing. I was talking to you guys about this before. Rather than always be paying yourself all the profits out of your company, what about just like, instead of, if you like, you have a budget for your expenses, like, you know how much your gas is going to cost for the month, rather than pay yourself and include that in your gas in there, why don't you just use your business credit card or your business debit card, whatever, and just buy the gas on that? Why don't you just put your car in your corporation name? And these are like if you're an entrepreneur, like a big percentage of your personal expenses can be business expenses. And now you can get credits for this. While if they were personal expenses, you wouldn't get nothing. When you do your taxes as an employee, what credits do you get? You don't get, you still have a phone. You still have a car. You still have to buy gas. You still had to buy clothes. You still had to buy food to support yourself. You still had to pay rent. Now, if I have a corporation and my corporation is fixed to my address, I'm getting a credit for what I had to pay for the lease because that was a business expense. Maybe a portion of that was a business expense.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So now let's get to some case studies. As you work with entrepreneurs, what are some consistent things you see entrepreneurs getting wrong that you wish you could tell the audience of how to get right?
People not like using contracts for risky business.
What's risky business to you?
Risky business is loaning you $200,000 just because I met you at a party and you said you flip homes.
I was like, all right, boom. And 200 bags.
Yeah. And I want to get in.
Yeah.
That's risky business, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to go. There's ways to do it. And there's ways not to do it. Like not having contracts, not having agreements, not doing the proper things. People, people doing a service like a beauty service, where if this goes wrong, I can permanently scar you. Like I should have, because of that, me knowing that, I should make you sign a waiver in this contract, like limiting my liability. Like limiting your ability to file a claim against me because this is a dangerous procedure, but you still want to carry it out. The world is not predictable. Nothing in life is predictable, and business is even more unpredictable. So you should cover CYA, cover your assets, cover your assets, and make sure that
that was good.
Smooth, bro.
Just make sure you're clear about what's required of me in this business deal. What are you gonna do? What's your obligations? What's your promises to me? You know what I'm saying? You gotta get things in writing, because just going off a word sometimes is not good enough, especially when you don't you probably do business endeavors with people that you haven't known that long, because these are new people in your life. You know what I'm saying? You haven't known that long, and you're trusting their word, whatever. Get it in writing. Do some research about who their corporation is, what their corporation is, how long have they been around, who else have they done deals with,
Yeah. So what are common elements in like a standard business contract? Like it could be a vendor, it could be whatever, but what do entrepreneurs need to make sure that's in a contract so they can know this is actually valid in case it doesn't go through?
At the bare minimum, in every contract or agreement, there's an offer, there's an acceptance, there's consideration, which means a subject matter that we're exchanging. That's what the law calls a consideration, whether it be money, whether it be a service, whether it be a home. There's something that we're exchanging, and there has to be a meeting of the minds. So we have to have a clear understanding about what the purpose of this agreement was, what we're doing. You can't be thinking we're doing A and I be thinking we're doing B. If that's the case, this contract is invalid, right? Because we're not thinking the same thing. In terms of common common elements you'll see in a contract. Some standard terms are, for number one is a term. A term is a period of this agreement. Like we could say this contract is going to be in place for 5 years. That's the term of the contract, right? You always want to know how long these things are going to be required from you. Whatever it is that you're agreeing to, how long are you gonna have to perform these obligations? You want to know what the payment schedule is gonna be like. When am I gonna get paid? When am I gonna have to pay you? How you're gonna pay me? Is it through check? Is it through email transfer? Is it through cash? Whatever the case may be. Are we gonna get paid after we look at the amount of, if we have a revenue share contract? Am I gonna get paid after we look at the split? After we look at how much we made, and then we do the splits? Like we talk about the Joe Budden thing.
Yeah,
it makes sense. If that, something like that, like if I'm dependent, if my percentage is dependent on what we make, then I need to know what we made. You know what I'm saying? If you're leasing a space or you're leasing a space to someone else, you want to know what your obligations is, like how to treat that space. You want to know how long you're going to have that space, what you're allowed to do in that space. You know, you don't want to breach your lease and then they kick you out and you're still liable for the rest of this money for these years or for these months or whatever the case may be. If you're loaning money, you want to know if you're loaning or borrowing money, which entrepreneurs, at least in a loaning contract or a borrowing contract are two popular contracts to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs need a space to run their business, run their service. So they lease rather than buy. And they borrow money to scale. You should know how much money you're going to have to pay back. You should know what the interest rate is. You should know what's going to happen if you default, what the late payments are going to be like. These are things that you need to read in the contract. You need to know, like I said, what's going to happen if you break this. What's going to happen if this person breaks their promises. Maybe what breaches are curable. Like not every breach that you do, we have to end this agreement. Maybe you might breach a term. And like, you may have to compensate me some money, but it doesn't mean we have to end this partnership or end this whole contract, right? You might have a service contract for maybe you're a contractor, you do marketing, you fix people's, Google SEOs, you fix people's website, you do their branding, you design, whatever the case is. You might want to have a service heading and define the services that you're going to be giving this person. So there's no misunderstanding later on. Like, oh, I thought you were going to do this too. And like, no. Remember on the contract, it says this is what you're paying me for, you know, stuff like that. I like when my clients have a down payment clause, like 20% upfront. And then maybe I'm getting paid in phases or whatever the case may be. Like I tell my clients, yo, don't be afraid to take a down payment. Like just to know that if this person disappears, you at least there was like
you
for
recoup some money.
Yeah, you recoup some money, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
That has happened. That has happened.
No, I know it's happened to you because I have clients that do what you do, and clients will go ghost on them.
Yep.
But like, yo, tell me, why would you?
Man, did we just deal with that with a certain provider who? Like, well, we didn't deal with it, but we had a verbal agreement with the audio hosting platform that we use. Yeah. Let's share more about that.
Well,
on a legal,
there was no money in that.
There's no money.
You know what I'm saying? So that one
doesn't have to. The contract doesn't have to always be for money, though. It could be like we're exchanging services. We're doing something for each other. Consideration doesn't always mean money. We just think about that in the Western world. We could trade services. Like, I could do legal services for you. You could do marketing service for me, and we could put that in the contract. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be nothing about money. But still, if I don't do my end of the bargain, you're gonna be pissed off. Like, yo, I did Courtney's marketing and whatever case may be. Courtney was supposed to hold me down in this lawsuit.
That's what we did, right? So we had a collaboration with a certain provider that we use for the podcast, and we're like, look, we'll make this content for you, so you can use it for your marketing, etc. And you know, we went out and did it. We went out and produced this content. We went out and killed it, like professional stuff. And the courtesy of not even returning their end of like their contractual agreement, I get it's not written down, but it's written down in email, like, which is like, yo, you agreed to this, here are the receipts. So when we have a situation like that, and a lot of entrepreneurs can be in this situation as well, where you agree to something over a conversation, there's also like verbal, contractual and everything. Can that stand as an agreement at the same time in a court of law where, hey, we'll produce this for you and then we can see about paying you later? Walk us through the whole process of doing that, because not everything is going to end up to the contract where it's written down, but a lot of stuff is verbal, especially when you do business early on, when you don't have leverage, let's say.
A verbal contract is still a contract. It's just not written down. It's hard to prove, though. It's hard to prove that you had that conversation. It's hard to prove that it was clear that this person knew what the requirements were, and we had a meeting of the minds. Don't forget that there also have to be a meeting of the minds, an understanding of what we're agreeing to.
Could an email be a verbal a contract? Is an email admissible in court?
You could use emails, but the thing is this: when it comes to offers, say you email me an offer. Courtney, I'll sell you this car for $5,000, and I email you back. Okay, I'll buy the car, but what about for $4,800? That's not really an acceptance on my part. Now I've counter offered. From when I have to accept the exact terms that you have offered me. If I offer another price or any other stipulation change, that's no longer an acceptance. That's a counter offer, and now it's up to you to accept it. My terms. If you don't like it, you could counter offer again, whatever. So you have to be tricky with emails because people talk so casually in emails where you're just hashing out, like people are putting like a couple sentences and they're basically building a contract through their emails back and forth. But if somebody, they may know or maybe one person has an idea about something and the other person has gotten lost in the thread. Like maybe they didn't remember that this was said how many emails ago and stuff like that. It's best case scenario. You want to have contracts. I've gone through stuff like that with clients. Cause remember, all my clients are business clients. Mm-hmm. So I had a client one time coming out with a database, like a marketing database, a directory. You know, they were talking about what they could do for my business. They're going to have me on their platform, feature me, And in exchange, I would do something for them, some legal business for them. So I did the legal business for them now. And then, because their platform never really got launched. Yeah, got off.
You're like, Rod, give me back, pay me.
There was not, you know what I'm saying? I never asked for the money back because it was I was just watching and waiting. I was literally watching them for a few months. I seen, they're not gonna launch. No, ain't nobody calling me about the feature. What's going on? I did all the paperwork, whatever. Just watching. I just realized, bro, this ain't never happening. After that, I was just like, yeah, I ain't doing much bartering. People just gotta come with cash. I'm starting to take Bitcoin now. Not Bitcoin. I've been taking USDT sometimes, whatever, depending on the mood I'm in, whatever. But rappers say, do a verse for a verse.
Yeah.
I ain't doing too much swapping out.
Swapping and swap to me.
I ain't doing nothing that's much swapping.
Word. All right. So you just said you take payment in USDT, a cryptocurrency. How do you take that?
Do a wallet, crypto wallet.
Interesting. I've never heard about someone getting paid for a service and through the crypto wallet. Do you use a specific provider? I use I think it's called KuCoin. KuCoin? Interesting. Now let's get into
you guys do crypto, right?
Yeah, of course. I invest in crypto.
I never send it though. I never pay for any services in crypto at all. Do you own it?
Nope.
So you guys do just buy and hold and then flip?
We're buying and holding right now.
Buying
bro. Ethereum, buying Bitcoin, buying Solana.
Hold on for dear life.
How would you guys feel about an advertiser paying you in crypto though?
I'm taking it. Let's go.
For sure. Easy.
Let's go. If any advertiser wants to be on an entrepreneurship podcast,
think about this.
Holla at us.
Yeah, facts. But think about this. There's still those people that use crypto for people that believed in it years ago. So they got mad Ethereum, mad Bitcoin, and they've invested in this currency. They probably have more crypto than they have in liquidated cash. Mm-hmm. So it's why not? And especially if I'm a crypto business, and I know you guys are talking about entrepreneurialism and hustling and everything like that, and you guys have a digital product, a digital product like this, why not send you guys some Ethereum or send you guys some USDT to promote me on your guys' show rather than spend cash? Because I'm a strong believer in this digital world. If I'm that crypto company, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, man.
Why not is the real
athletes
question.
are taking crypto. I think Odell Beckham just took some money.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Okay, well,
he got paid in his contract in Bitcoin.
Okay,
by the Nets.
I don't know if I want the whole thing in Bitcoin personally.
Why not?
I feel like I'd want a percentage of it.
Nah, but think about this. What if you can't? I mean, you could tax the money you give me. What can you tax my crypto? That's what's going on right now. That's what's going on right now. That's what the big thing is right now. The government's trying to tax crypto. They're trying right now
to figure it out.
So before they figure it out, let me get this 100 mil in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because if you give me 100 mil in cash, you're gonna take 50 of it.
Yeah. No, athletes probably get more because they get athlete tax, right? Where they get taxed in the States, and because they move the different states, they get taxed in that state for working.
Like even Raptor, even like pro athletes, like play for the Leafs and Raptors, bro, they get paid. They get taxed Canadian.
Probably get taxed doubly. I don't know what happens with the Raptors, but they probably have some kind of agreement.
Word.
Because to be honest, any entrepreneur does any foreign business, they may be aware of this. But if you do foreign business, like what the government will do, and you're not a resident of that country, the person that you're doing, maybe the institution that you're doing business with in that country, is by law they have to hold back maybe 30% of the revenue that they pay you because you're not a resident. You have there's certain applications you have to file with that government in order for them not to hold back that 30%, because you might have to. Canada and that country may have an agreement. Like Canada and America have agreements where I have a client who has a record business. So for him to stream to the US, the streaming platform that he uses holds 30%. But it's cool between Canada and America because they have a pact. Know this. Everyone should have a corporation because every country on this planet is a corporation. Every municipal government is a corporation. These are all corporations. When you see the government own property and everything like that and own whatever, it's a corporation that they've set it up under. A lot of these government bodies, like one in particular that I deal with on a common basis, is the AGCO. The AGCO is responsible for all the lotto, all the cannabis, all the tobacco, and all the liquor, right? Liquor license, everything. It's a government body that runs it. They're a corporation, you know? Everyone needs a corporation, man, I feel like.
So even if you have like a 9 to 5, right? And you're getting paid like a salary and everything, can you take your salary and let's say company ABC hires Courtney Fraser to perform a duty and the salary is, let's say, $100,000 per annum. Can you get company ABC to
pay your
employ?
Corporation?
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of nurses do this. A lot of nurses will set up their own corporation. And like say you're a nurse that does agency work where they can send you different places, but you get paid. Say as an employee, they might pay you $40 an hour, right? But if you have your corporation, they might pay you $60 an hour because now you're an independent contractor. You're not an employee of theirs. They don't have to pay you. They don't have to they don't have to deal with certain payroll and taxes on the payroll and whatever the case may be. Because when your employer pays you, they're paying a tax on that money that they're paying you, you know? So now that you're an independent contractor, they can just give you straight pay. They don't have to take out their taxes, out of your check, and they'll let you deal with Uncle Sam and you pay your own taxes. You know, they don't mind that. Just talk to your employer and see if they're cool with that. I know realtors just got the right to do that, in Ontario. Realtors are allowed to open up their own corporations and then have their brokerage just pay their corporations. It's just a tax save. It's just ways to save on taxes and ways to get more income and stuff like that, you know? Yeah. But your employer will probably do it if you talk to them and see what they got going on. If you work at a restaurant, nah, they probably ain't going for that. But depends on where you work, depends on your skill set, what you do, what you offer.
Because I was thinking about like having a T4, right? Because a T4 is tied to your SIN number and everything like that.
And that's why I don't recommend sole proprietorships.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to you personally. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of liability behind that.
You cannot maneuver you cannot maneuver properly with a sole proprietorship. You can't even own nothing with a sole proprietorship.
Imagine getting a divorce with a sole proprietorship, like you're toast.
Bro, come on, man. You better stay that. That's when people say it's better to keep her than to leave her. And you know what's the worst thing? Imagine going through a divorce and imagine going through me and you have a business. You're going through a divorce now, so now your wife's a part of this business because your wife's getting half your shares in this corporation. That's a lot of corporations fail because dudes is getting divorced, bro. The Dodgers, the reason why I don't know if you guys remember this a few years ago. You can Google this, but the owner of the Dodgers was going through a divorce, and because the divorce was getting so serious, he couldn't make payroll because they froze the family courts froze his accounts. So like they didn't care that he owned a whole franchise of a team.
Yeah.
No, you may be funneling money. You may be because you're paying so much people. Just you may be able to some finances between the creases of things. You'll let finances go. Froze the accounts. He couldn't make his payroll. The MLB sold his team.
Wow, that's
why did he sell to Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson and a group of guys. Yeah, bought it from
that's crazy.
for the low because he couldn't pay his team.
So is it even worth it to get married, bro? I'm a believer in marriage because culturally, yes.
Go get married if you love this girl, whatever. Go get married, but think about the business side. And that's the thing with women too. Like, it's not that show, but women want the whole thing. Because think about it, we can't even think about this. Back in the day, maybe 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 200 years ago, women weren't allowed to drive. Women couldn't go to school. They couldn't vote. The only property a woman has was her body. That was her first hustle. All she could sell was this. You know what I'm saying? So when a woman comes into, like, a woman's gonna want that protection now that she's with you, like, to know that, like, not only if you die she's gonna get something, but I feel like it's nice security. You know, for men, we don't care because we don't really care what a woman's coming with. Men don't care. Men, pretty face, bam,
we're in.
But you got to think past that. Like, yo, can this woman even raise my kids? If anything, like, would I trust her? If anything happened to me, would I trust her? Like, you know, like taking the ball and running with it and stuff like that. Like, would I trust her hiring the right management to keep this family business going? She don't have to work in the business, but she has to be able to hire. We have a restaurant, you can hire outside management to make sure the restaurant keeps running how it's supposed to be. Or if we develop houses enough, like, if we develop houses, hire the right contractors that you see me working with all the time. You know what I'm saying? Hire advisors and stuff like that. That's why I say, like, it's nice to have a woman or a partner, whatever you're into. Nice to have a partner that knows a little bit about your business, and you could teach them about your business, especially if we're going to have a family business. Because if we get married, this business that I have now is a family business, no?
So, for the kids.
It's for the kids, bro. Walmart is going to feed that family forever.
Have you read Making in America by Sam Walton?
No, but that's the guy who made Walmart.
Exactly, bro.
I've never read the book.
Every entrepreneur needs to read Sam Walton's book. That's the greatest book on entrepreneurship. Like, bootstraps, pick himself up from nothing, just straight up, like, hustler. He's like, that's why Amazon.
He was like a value store or something. He started off with like a little value store competing with like a 99-cent store, a dollar store, something like that. A little discount store.
Jeff Bezos makes every one of his directors. If you're like in a C-suite director level in Amazon, the first thing he wants you to do is read Make It in America by Sam Walton.
Because he can relate to that.
Exactly. And that's what inspired Amazon to start, because he was such a big fan of Sam Walton. So he replicated Walmart, but like in a digital sense.
Okay. In his room selling the books.
And books and stuff like that.
Look what he sells now.
Oh,
everything.
Behemoth, monster, bro.
So, speaking of Walmart, and speaking of, mom and pop, family businesses, one of the biggest elephants in the room right now is the panini, right? So right now in Ontario, there's a mandate to follow specific orders, to keep their business either open or closed, right? What are the ramifications of that, in your opinion?
Like, the ramifications, the consequences, we live in a Western society, so money is how we solve every issue. So, they find you, they may close down they may bar your establishment, ban your establishment. And when they do that, they lock it up, they put blocks in front of it. I've had people that had their businesses, like, because they kept re-entering. You remember Adam's Barbecue? Adam's Barbecue?
Yeah, I was
they
gonna
were
ask
on
about
his
that.
head. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yo, I respect guys like that, because it's like, yo, if the government was to let it, like, you've put in, this is your family business. Again, we're back to the family business. This
family
feeds
biz.
your kids going off to university. You got tuition fees. You may need a surgery here or there. Like, someone's gonna rehab you. You're gonna be off from work. You're like, as a sole proprietor, not a sole proprietor, but as an entrepreneur, you often feel like you can't take no days off. And now the government's here telling you, yo, you have to modify your business and do it like this, or you can't do it at all. It's like, how am I supposed to eat? Am I going to wait for government grants that are going to take however long to be implemented for me to feed my family? I got loans I have to pay back. I got vendors I have to pay back. Like, I have inventory I have to pay, I have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the retail space, I think you have to pay back. I think you have to pay for the inventory that you order from vendors, like maybe every 60 days or something like that, or something like that, right? So I got bills. I gotta keep the business coming in. I gotta keep the cash flow coming in, stuff like that. I can understand. But now the government's gonna fine you and do all this, lock up your doors.
But you can still keep paying the fines, though. You don't have to really.
Can your business afford it? But not every business can afford it. I've had clients who've tried to repurpose their business. their space. Just so entrepreneurs are creative, and that's why I love them. That's why I like working with entrepreneurs. They're gonna find a way to get it out, man. So they're gonna find a way to get you this product, get you this service. So look at even restaurants. People started building tents in parking lots or on the in one lane on the street, like just so people can still get this food. You know what I'm saying? So entrepreneurs have been creative during this process and been trying to avoid any type of fine, any type of closures, just by continuing to be creative and repurposing, maybe adding something to their business they never thought they could do before.
Most definitely. So with that being said, Courtney, thank you for joining us. Where can people find you?
It was a pleasure being here. If you guys are looking for me, I'm on Instagram at Fraser Legal Group. Fraser Legal Group. That's Fraser FRASER Legal Group. Or just check out my website, FraserLegalGroup.com. You know, I'm out here, man.
You're grinding.
Yeah, man.
All right. With that being said, hustle is what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Owen.
What's my name? Go ahead, bro.
And I'm Courtney.
And that's Hustle Over Everything, y'all.
E.